Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as my friends over at Yarnspirations.com. Today we're going to do the Garden Lattice Jumper, and this is sized from 6 months all the way to 4 years. Yes, that's 5 sizes all available in this one pattern. Today I'm going to show you the 6 month size, but you're going to substitute the information today in order to achieve the size that you're going to do. It's actually pretty easy, and I've been really quite happy with this as well. I'll show you. I've started a sample. Many of the patterns on Yarnspirations.com are color coded for the size that you're trying to achieve. So for the 6 months you'll see it in this color, and etc. for all the rest. So whenever there's a decision to be made, you will always know that there's a color change in the instructions in order to follow. So if you would like to follow all the color coding, this is what you see. So for example, let's take a look at this instruction right here. It says begin at lower edge with A. A is the color. Chain 171 all the way to 207. Which number are you going to choose? You're going to choose the number that matches the size that you want to do. When there is no color coding, like all of this, it means it's the same for everybody. So whenever there's a decision to be made based on a size, then we adjust to that. So what I'm going to be showing you today on camera is a really small miniature example of this. I am actually doing the 6 month size in person here, but this is actually really easy. The dress is actually really quite simple to be able to follow up as well. So let's take a look at the construction of this dress. One thing that makes this dress really quite simple is that even though you see it kind of tapering in, this is actually the same information. So it's actually, if you pulled it back out, it would be a rectangle. So you're going to start off in the very base, and it's going to be a rectangle going straight up. I have actually, because I'm doing the sample, I do concur with that as well. Not that I'm questioning the designer at all. And you will see this information as well. The skirt, you can see that there is the dimensions going across, and then the height, and you can see that they've represented it with a rectangle as well. So my point today is I'm gonna get you started on a very small example, and the small example is just based on the multiples in order to make this work. It's actually really quite fun. Let me show you my example, and then we're gonna talk about the color changing that you can see here. And so you see more black dominant and then white. So here's my example that I'm working on. I did it during stitch night during my Loosey Goosey Stitchers of Nova Scotia meetup. So what we have is that I started off with the white being dominant. I looked at the coloring and I wanted to replace out some colors. So I used white to start off. So this would have been the black down here, and the offset color I've used fuchsia. So what I have here is that when you get to a certain point of the instructions, it switches spots. So right now I've got all my instructions here, and now I'm switching spots of making the fuchsia more dominant at the top. So the base area here will appear more white for me, and then when I get up here it'll appear more fuchsia with the white in the background. So it's really quite an easy idea to be able to follow. So in order to play with this, you can use your Patons Classic Wool DK Superwash and a 4mm size G crochet hook in order to play. Let's get started, and I'm gonna show you a small example, and then you can follow it all the way up, and then we'll do this completely on camera. So let's begin. We're going to start off with our instructions. We're gonna begin at the bottom of the dress and work our way up. Usually we always go up, or go from the up and go down. So we're gonna start at the base. So what you're going to do is choose the number that matches the size that you want to do. So it's either 171 all the way to 207 based on the sizing that you have. For myself, don't pay attention to my chain that I'm going to be making, because I'm just gonna make a small example, because the stitch work is a matter of a repeat, and that's what you need to know the most. So for me, I started off with my white, and I'm just gonna create a slip knot to begin. I know that that's hard to see on a white background. I'll keep my hands behind the project as much as possible. So choose the amount of chains that you want to do. It's either 171, 180, 189, 198, or 207. So what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to do a small chain. So just chain the numbers. So just rotate the hook and pull through. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and go all the way to the chain size that you need. Once you get to the length of the chain, you want to make sure that you don't twist your chain at all. So once you get there, just put the ending and the end of the hook and pull through and through, and you will have a very large base because it's the largest part of your jumper. So now what we're going to do is that we're going to begin starting with this dominant color first on the bottom of the dress, and then work our way up. To begin, you are going to chain 4, and it counts as a double crochet and chain 1. So 1, 2, 3, there's your double crochet. 4th is your chain 1. In the same stitch, I want you to place a double crochet. Now working your way around your chain, skip 2 chains and go to the 3rd and double crochet, chain 1 and double crochet. This is referred to as a V-stitch. Okay, so work your way around the chain. So you're gonna skip two more chains, so 1, 2, and go to the third and V-stitch. So double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Okay, so skipping 2, 1, 2, go to the third and V-stitch. Please do that all the way around for round number 1. When you get all the way back around, what I'm strongly recommending is that you should have 2 stitches left if you've done it right, but if you don't, and you only have 1, you can really honestly fake it at this point. It really probably would never be noticed. So if you're off by 1 or 2, you know, you can always fake things. So what I want you to do is with this, I want you to stick your hook into the third chain up. So 1, 2, 3, but do not pull through the white. What we're going to do is that we're going to introduce our secondary color. So let's bring our secondary color out now, and then that's going to be our new color that we're going to play with. So I've got my fuchsia and I am just going to bring this in. So to finish this stitch, I'm going to put this on and I'm gonna put the fuchsia into my hands and finish it. And this will get the fuchsia ready for the next section. To begin, you're just going to slip stitch to the chain 1. So it's in between the V-stitch. So this is double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and then immediately this is the next V-stitch. So you're just gonna slip stitch to the first chain 1, and then that'll put you exactly where you need to be. Chain 1 and single crochet into that same stitch, chain 2 and single crochet back into that same stitch. This is very much like a V-stitch as well. So you're just gonna go into between the next V-stitch. So here's the double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and go in and single crochet, chain 2, and into the same one. Okay, go to the next. So double crochet, or sorry, single crochet, chain 2, and single crochet. So you're gonna do that all the way around. This is round number 2 using the secondary color, and this will get buried in behind, making the white dominant for a while. So please do this for round number 2. And eventually you'll get back around on the bottom of your dress or bottom of your jumper. If I call it a dress, it's a jumper. So you're gonna get to the last one and you need to pull this white back tight once again, and then slip stitch then to the first single crochet. But what I want you to do is let this fuchsia go and get your white back up and pick up the white and finish that stitch. So just finish pulling it through. And now we're going to begin the next layer. So this layer that we do, number 3, is going to bury the fuchsia in behind. To begin, I need you, see these V-stitches? We're gonna play in between them this time. We're not playing in the middle of them, we're playing in between. So just go right straight down, and it's in between 2 V-stitches, and just pick up the yarn and slip stitch, and that'll put you right where you need to be. I need you to chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, that's a double crochet. The 4th is the chain 1 space. So then coming in to the same space, double crochet. So this is a V-stitch from before, but we're playing in between, so you're just gonna jump in between these 2. Okay, so just coming in, double crochet, go right in. You're going right up over top of that fuchsia area and burying that underneath. So double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. So you're gonna work your way around. So just go into between the next 2 V-stitches. So double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. Please do that all the way around for round number 3. When you get all the way back around, you're still in between the 2 spaces. See the 2 V's. So you're just going to slip stitch to the 3rd chain up. So 1, 2, 3, but do not use the white to finish it. Drop the white and get your fuchsia back up. So let's put the fuchsia back in our hands. This will be round number 4. So I want you to slip stitch in between the V-stitch. Okay, so before we were working between them, now we're in the middle of V-stitch. So just slip stitch first to put us there, chain 1 and then single crochet into the same spot, and then chain 2 and single crochet back in. Okay, so right in the middle of the V, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, and keep on moving around. This is round number 4, so single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. Please do this all the way for round number 4. Coming up to the end of number 4, when you get there, pull that white back nice and tight again and slip stitch to the first single crochet, drop the fuchsia and switch it over back to white. This is finishing up round number 4. So to remember how to start, so you're just gonna slip stitch in this space. So these are between the V's, coming in, pull through and slip, and then that'll put you right where you need to be, and then chain 4. So 1, 2, 3 is your double crochet, chain 1 is your chain 1 space, and then double crochet back into the same spot. So that keeps it even. So here's the next 2 V's, go right in between them. So double crochet, chain 1 and double crochet. So this is round number 5, and in person, like, this is such a small sample in my hand, it takes you a while to get around, but you will see that it really does a great job, and this is awesome. So do round number 5 now. So getting around number 5, just slip stitch to the 3rd chain up. You already know how to do this. Drop that one and get your fuchsia and pull things nice and in. So remember what you did for number 6. Then you slip stitch in between the center of the V's to get yourself started, chain 1, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet in the middle of each V. So you already know how to do this, so just go in between, just separate the V's out and do that all the way around for round number 6. So round number 6 we're just finishing up, and just a slip stitch to the first one. Make sure you pull that white nice and tight and slip, but drop the fuchsia and finish it with the white. Okay, so then just, you already know how to do this, so just go straight down, slip stitch it to get yourself positioned, chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, double crochet in the same one. Okay, and then now move to the next in between the V's. This is round number 7, and in round number 8 we're gonna start switching spots in order to get the colors to change their dominance in the look. So just go around for number 7. You already know what you're doing at this point. So I'm coming to the end of round number 7, and I'm going to slip stitch then to the 3rd chain. Now here's what the difference is. I want to finish it this time, so just finish it with the white. We're now going to switch positions of making the white in the background and bringing the fuchsia to be more dominant. So how we do that is that we're going to slip stitch in the V using the white, chain 1, single crochet, chain 2 and single crochet. So you already know how to do the stitch. You're just using the same colors you just did before, and then the next time we're gonna start the fuchsia, and the fuchsia will be then these long double crochets in. So in between each of the V's, or in between the center of the V's, just you do your single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. Please do that all the way around for round number 8. So when you get all the way back around, you're going to slip stitch to the first single crochet, but now you're not gonna finish it with the white. You're going to pull up that fuchsia that was sitting down there, and now you're going to finish it with the fuchsia. So now instead of what we were doing with the white of coming straight down and slip stitching, you're doing it with the fuchsia. So come straight down, slip it, and then chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, there's your double crochet. The 4th is your chain 1, and then you're going to double crochet in the same spot. So now this just switches. So just going in between the V's that you see, okay, right there, and do your double crochet, chain 1 and double crochet. So you've officially now just switched your colors that you have going on in your project. So do this then for round number 9. So now you get here, and then you're going to slip stitch to the 3rd chain up, and we're going to switch back to white. So just drop that one and switch it back to white. So what we need to do is that we're going to repeat now rounds number 8 and 9. So instead of using the white and the fuchsia like we did here, it's going to be fuchsia and white. So we're just gonna slip and etc. So we're just gonna go in continuous rounds now using this new colorway, and we are going to get it so that it's going to be 8.5 inches, 10, 11.5, 13 or 14.5 inches, and it depends on the size of your dress on how wide how high you're going to go. So you're just gonna go, so we've gone now from this black transition then into the white dominance just like you see here. So on my actual project that I did, you can see that I've gone from my white and now I'm switching over to being my fuchsia. So when I come back, I'm going to bring you back to this particular sample. So I need to get 8.5 inches done from the base of this in order to continue on into this project. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave that with you, and then when we come back I'm just gonna go watch some TV for a bit, and I'm gonna get myself to 8.5 inches, and I will see you back here real soon. Bye bye. So when I last left you, we were down here and I went and watched some TV for a bit, and I got myself up to the height that I wanted to go. So your case, it could be 8.5, 10, 11.5, 13 or 14.5. Just for full transparency, because of my stitching gauge, I was actually intending on doing the smaller size of the 8.5, but I realized that when I measured out my dress here that I was actually doing the 18th month size. So because I realized I'd measured that, I went to the height that matched the 18 month of age, so it's more than 8.5. So that's just something for you. So when you get to the top here of your 8.5, you should finish so that you have the smaller section that you see, just like that. And we're gonna continue now, and we're gonna start working into the bodice. You'll have to change the information in order to match the size, but you can find that information, and we'll go through it step by step as well as we now decrease our way to the bodice of the dress or to the jumper. So as we begin now, we're going to move on to the bodice, and the number of stitches that you end up with is determined on the size that you'll do. So it says with A, chain 1, and A in this case, if you look at the stitching pattern, A was the dark gray, so that was pretty much the solid color that you see. That down here is more the white in my case. So what I'm going to do is that we're gonna continue with white because we just kind of finished it because that's the color, and we're going to single crochet in the V-stitches that you'll find. So it's into the chain 1 of the V-stitch in order to get it to work. So now we're going to begin doing the bodice. Now it's all sizes here. You'll just end up with a different stitch count, and what you're going to do is severely reduce this out. So with A, the color A, in this case it'll be the dark color that's in this project. It says chain 1 and 1 single crochet into the next chain 1 space of the next V-stitch. So what we have to do is that we have to go down to the project here, and I'm just gonna finish this. Now in my case, A is the actual white that I just finished with. So I'm just going to slip stitch it because I wasn't sure where I was gonna go, and I'm gonna chain 1, and I'm gonna come right down into the same space. Okay, so come right down in and single crochet, and then all I'm just going to do then is then move to the next one. So come right down in and single crochet, and this is bringing everything nicely together, and it will severely reduce out your stitches. So please do that all the way around for the bodice round number 1. So I'm coming up all the way around. I wasn't sure if this was actually right in the instructions, but I can see now that I'm doing it. By doing what we're doing and going into this, it makes the white look more full. If you weren't doing that, then it wouldn't be so full looking. So this is actually reducing the size. So now this is giving the pleats of the dress to be, and when you get all the way around, which I'm about to get there, okay, so this is the last one, is that I want to slip it to the first single crochet that I'm going to go into. So I just want to make sure that's right. So slip it to the first one, and I want to change out my color then to the other color for the next second round. So the second round will vary depending on the size that you're working on, so we're gonna cover that next. So now that the yarn is changed over, you can see it's nicely narrowed in, and let's begin round number 2. So sizes 6 months, 12 months, and 18 months is this set of instructions, and now the 2 to 4 years of size is this set of instructions. So I'm going to be using this one up here because that's the size I'm working on. So it says with B, which is what I just changed to, chain 1, 1 single crochet in each of the next 2 single crochets, 2 single crochets into the next, and then 1 single crochet in the next 3, 2 single crochets in the next, and repeat from the asterisk. So I have to continue to repeat this pattern. So 1 single crochet in each of the next 2, 2 into the next, 1 single crochet in the next 3, 2 into the next, and continue that. So it says repeat until the last 1, 4 or 7 single crochets and 1 single crochet in each, and then it will say of the next 0, 0 or 2. So you just look at this information. For those doing the 2 to 4, it says chain 1, 1 single crochet in each of the next 2 single crochets, 2 single crochets in the next, and repeat all the way around to the last 6 single crochet, 1 single crochet in each of the next 6 or 0 depending on what size. So you can see the 2 to 4 months has a more of a equal balance on the way that it's doing, but the other one is a little more complex because of the sizing and that you want to get it right. So without further ado, I'm going to be doing the 6 month of age size. So we're gonna be doing that on camera. Just substitute the information that you see. So with B, which is the color I just changed to, you're gonna chain up 1, and it says to do 1 single crochet in the next 2. So just go 1 and then the next one is 2. Okay, so this is a repeat. So 2 single crochets in the next one, 1 and 2, and then further on in the instruction it says 1 single crochet in the next 3. So 1, I just grabbed an extra fiber there. I don't want that, so let me try again. So we're gonna go 1, 2 and 3, and then 2 into the next. Okay, so let's repeat that. So we're gonna keep repeating that around. So you're gonna go 2 into the next one, or 2 in a row. So 1 and 2, and then 2 into the next one, 1 and 2, and then the next 3 are by themselves. So 1, 2, 3, and then 2 into the next. So please repeat that all the way around for the number of repeats that you'll have to do to get around, and if you're doing the 2 to 4, just follow that instruction there. So please do that all the way around. So I'm coming up all the way around. I'm just repeating the pattern as I know it. I keep grabbing these individual little plies, but it's not a deal breaker. It's just a matter of just dealing with it as I get there. So 2, and then this one has 2 in it, and then 1, 2 and 3, and then the last one here has 2 into the same one. So you will have, if you had other sizes, you may have to do extra single crochets depending on the size. So you're gonna slip stitch this, but it doesn't say to change color, so we're just gonna slip stitch. But what it does say is turn. So we're gonna turn our work and now go in the other direction. And the reason why we want to turn is that we want to keep the bodice and the top equal to each other. So we're gonna start then round number 3, all sizes next. Round number 3, very simple. Just chain up 1, and then just 1 single crochet in each of the stitches. So this will start balancing out as you go all the way around, and then you're going to join it to a slip stitch when you get back here. So this is all sizes number 3, round 3, and please do that. We'll be right back. When you get all the way back around, I want you to slip stitch to the first single crochet, and that was round number 3. So 4 and 5 is just the same thing. So I want you to do that. So just turn every time you hit back to the beginning, chain up 1, and then just single crochet yourself back. So please, this is round number 4, and then I want you to do a 5 the same way. So when you get around, just turn around and go back in the other direction. So this is showing that the 4th round is on the right side, so this is the outside of the outfit, so that means it's right. And when we come back, then we'll have this section of the pattern done, and then we'll start on the back of the bodice. So do rounds now 4 and 5, and just make sure you turn in each of those rounds when you finish. Just as a side note, I'm reading ahead in the pattern. I would cut this yarn as well. Just leave an extra long tail so that you can use a tapestry needle to put it in and get rid of the secondary color, and that'll be out of your way and easier for you to manage as well. So that's what I would do, and that's what I just did. So I'm just finishing up round number 5, and I'm working on the wrong side and because I can see the inside of it when I'm crocheting. And what I want to do at the end of this is that I want to place a stitch marker, a placement marker it says, and this gives us a height measurement for the future. So just slip stitch it to the first one, and then you're gonna turn, but before you carry on any further, I want you to place a stitch marker there. So just grabbing a spare piece of yarn, and this will help you measure in the future the height that you need. Okay, so it's just resting in there pretty much like that. And now we're going to begin then the back of the bodice, and we're going to start from that point. So now we're gonna start the back of the bodice, and now we're going to only go a portion of the way around. So you're gonna single crochet in either the next 31, 33, 35, 35 or 39 depending on the size that you're doing. In my case it'll be 31. Once you get 31 in there, you're gonna turn your work, and then you're gonna leave this remaining stitches, and then you're just gonna do rows 2 through 5, and we'll carry on and do that then. And then the row 6 is 1 single crochet, and it says repeat the last row until this amount of stitches are, or sorry, this amount of measurement is possible. So it'll either be 2.5 all the way to 4 inches depending on the size that you're making. So what we're gonna do then is that we're gonna work on the back of the bodice. Choose the number that you're going to do, and let's carry on from this point. So let's start the back of the bodice. Hopefully you chose the number you wanted, so just chain up 1, and in my case then it'll be a total of 31 stitches. So 1, 2 and 3, and go all the way to the number of stitches you needed in order to get that size that you're doing. So do that now. I'll see you at the end. So I've just come across, I've got my 31 in there, and that just popped out, so get my 31 back in, and now I'm gonna turn my work. You could have a different dimension depending, or a different stitch count. So what we're going to do then is rows 2 through 5 are exactly the same thing, so I'm gonna show it to you once. So you're just going to chain up 1 and 1 single crochet 2 together in the over the next 2. So in the first one just sink in, pull through, and go to the next one, pull through, and then pull through all 3 loops. You're then going to single crochet yourself all the way across to where you had started, okay, and then once you get over there, then what's gonna happen is the final 2 stitches will be 2 together. So I'll see you there in just a moment. So this is row 1 of, sorry, this is row 2 of 5. So you're going to then do this for rows number 2, 3, 4 and 5. So please do that. I'll see you at the end of this row just to make sure you know what to do. When you get all the way across, the final 2 stitches are 2 together. So just go in, pull through, go into the last one, pull through all 3. So that was row 2 of 5. So the next one, rows 3, 4 and 5 are the same way. So just chain up 1, put the first 2 together, and then 1 single crochet in each, and then put the final 2 together. So please do this then for rows number 3, 4 and 5. I'll see you at the end of that. So I've just finished now row number 5. So I've come in, you can see that I've tapered in. So I'm going to turn my work. You're just gonna go back and forth now and do single crochets till you get to the height that it's suggesting. So for the 6-month size it would have been 2.5, and it goes all the, sorry, it would be 2.5 and going all the way to 4 depending on the size. So just chaining up 1 and just putting in 1 single crochet in each. Just go back and forth. So where are you measuring from? You're going to measure from that stitch marker that we left, and it'll either be 2.5 all the way to 4 depending on your size. So please go back and forth now and get to the height that you need, and then we're gonna carry on, and we're gonna start with the right back stripe or strap from that point. So I've now got to the height that I want for my stitch marker, and now I'm going, and you have to end on the wrong side, so you have to end on the side looking on the inside. We're now going to turn our work and start the back right stripe. Or straps. I keep calling it stripe, but it's a strap. So what we're going to do, they're all the same as far as the thickness of the strap. So we are going to chain up 1, and we're gonna do 1 single crochet in each of the next 9. So just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. That's all you got. So then what we have to just do is turn our work now, and we are going to continue on, and we're going to just start condensing in. So we're gonna chain up 1. So this is the next row of the strap. So just put the first 2 together for 2 together single crochet, and put those together, and then you were going to put 1 single crochet in the remaining. So that was the next row. So this is giving it a bit of it's not just a box, you know, none of our bodies are boxes, so it's giving you a little bit of contour. We're then gonna turn our work and do the next row, and we are going to just chain up 1. So we're on the outside of the jumper, really, pretty much. See, this is the middle. So we're going to just chain up 1 and put 1 single crochet in each except for the final 2. The final 2, when we get there in just a moment, will be 2 together single crochet. Okay, so put the final two together. So you can see it kind of just tapered in a little bit. So now you're gonna turn your work and you're gonna carry on. So the next row we're gonna keep repeating now until you get to the amount of inches that it suggests. So it says so we're gonna just chain up one and do one single crochet in each going across, and then we'll talk about the dimensions. So it tells us, when we get there in a second, so I'm just gonna turn and get ready. So it says repeat the last until the last strap measures 2.5 to all the way to 3.5 inches. So what you want to just do is just measure from this part, the starting, and then just keep now going back and forth until you get to the height that you need to get in order to do that. So we're just gonna chain up one and just single crochet back and forth until you get the height of the strap that's suggested in the pattern. So it's either 2.5 or 3 or 3.5. So I'll see you there in just a moment. So in the strap I got to the height that I needed, and you're gonna get there as well, and I'm ending on the wrong side, so I'm on the inside of the jumper. So let's turn and do the good side, right side, and begin. So we're going to create a buttonhole. So we're gonna chain up one and we're going to put in one single crochet in the next two, and then you're going to chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, and you're gonna skip the next 3. So 1, 2, 3, and go in the final 2 for single crochet. So there's your new buttonhole. Turn and work, and now you're going to chain up one and you're just gonna put in single crochets into this section. What I'd strongly recommend is go into the chain work. You have 3 chains there. Go into each one of the 3 chains. Don't go into a gapping space because it'll open up even worse, or even more, sorry. So this is 2 and 3 right into the chain, and then the final 2 stitches are also single crochet. And then it says the next row is that you are going to turn and you're gonna put the first 2 together. So just put the first 2 together for single crochet 2 together, and then you're going to single crochet yourself. I dropped apply here. You're gonna single crochet yourself across, except for the very final 2. You're going to put the final 2 together. Okay, so put the final 2 together just like so, and then you're done the strap. So what this will do is that this is the back, so this will go over the shoulder and then back down the front side of there. So what you want to do is just get rid of this yarn. We're gonna take care of our loose ends at the end, and now we're going to move on to the next strap that's over. And I want you to keep it looking to the good side of the project. So the outside of the dress, let's just zoom out a little bit. So the outside of the dress is where we are. We're still looking at the back. Here's my thing. It says to skip a certain amount of stitches in order for you not to screw up. Okay, this is what I would do, and this is what I have done many times, is that we know that there's 9 stitches. So what I would do is count back the 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and that's where I would start. Okay, so you can skip a certain amount of stitches, or if you know it's 9 like it was there, like I do, just go in the 9th one from the edge. Let's begin then the other side of the strap for the back. So leave my hook right where it was. I'm gonna just pull it out for a second. Just keep an eye on that where that is, and put the other yarn in. So it's the 9th one. Just make sure you count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And I want to fasten on this new yarn. Chain 1 and single crochet into that one plus the other 8 that are left. So you'll have a total of 9. So let's just count that out to make sure. So the first one's 1, 2, go right up over top of that straggler, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now that I've gone over that straggler, I'm going to get rid of it now so that it's out of my way, because I buried it in. And now we're going to turn and work and do the next row. So the next row, remember how we did a little bit of a taper here? Well, we're going to do that on this one as well. So when we get to the middle section over here, we're going to do that taper. So we've turned our work, and we're going to just chain up one, and you do 1 single crochet in each except for the final 2. You'll put those 2 together. Notice I'm really not counting. I'm just looking for the final 2, which is there. But if you prefer to count, that's up to you. Okay, so the final 2, put them together and then turn your work. Now you're going to put the first 2 together. So chain up 1 and put the first 2 together again. and then just single crochet to this other side. So now you're gonna do like you did in the other one. You're just going to crochet back and forth, single crochets each. There's no decrease anymore, and you're gonna get to the same length of strap that you created for the other side. So chaining up 1 and 1 single crochet in each of the stitches, going across, and go back and forth, ending on the wrong side, and then we'll create the buttonhole for this side as well when we get there. So just go back and forth to the height that you need. Once you get to the right height, just double count and make sure that you have the same amount of rows. You're ending on the wrong side. So we're going to turn our work and start on the right side again, and now we're gonna create a buttonhole. So chain up 1 and put a single crochet in the first 2, and then chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, and then the final 2 stitches put in 1 single crochet each. That's how we did it before. Turn your work, chain up 1, and it's 1 single crochet in each of the stitches, and in the chaining you have to put in 3 in there. So go right into a chain itself. So 1, and keep progressing across, 2 and 3, and then the final 2 single crochets, and then finally the last one. Turn your work, chain up 1, put the first 2 together, single crochet across, and put the final 2 together, and that would be how you would complete the straps for the back. So just get rid of this yarn now, and we're now ready then to progress to the front bodice area, and I'm gonna have some tips for you for that one as well. So let's begin to do that next. So as we begin to do the front bodice, I'm looking at the right side of the project, so the outside is if somebody was wearing it. Now it says for my size, and you can have a different information for your front bodice. It says skip the next 6 stitches. So coming back down on this band right here, you're gonna skip. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So skipping 6, go to the 7th. I want you to place a stitch marker here. I'm doing something that is not suggested in the pattern because I have been known for not getting my stitch counts right when it comes to these kind of things. So what I want to do on the other side is start from the 1 that is not attached. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Go to the 7th on this side. So I'm going to completely go across this whole section here because I know it's balanced towards the back of, like it's balanced on both sides of the spectrum here. So this will help me get started. You will have pretty much almost probably the similar amount of counts. I'm gonna count it off camera now, but if you're wrong at any point, this is a way to get it back in balance without having to redo all your work. Okay, so off camera I counted. You will not believe that it's correctly the right stitches. I'm telling you, I am totally buying a lottery ticket, but this is the way to do it. I've done baby sweaters like this in the past where I had been off by 1 or 2 on one side, and it looks like it's off by 1 or 2 when it's done. So coming into the first one that you marked, I want you to just join it, your new yarn, chain up 1, and single crochet yourself across. If you don't want to do it the way I suggested, you either have to chain, or so you do the first one and then it's either the next 30, 32, 34, 34, 38. It depends on the size, but in my case I'm just gonna go to the other stitch marker because I don't have to count. So because I've already worked it out. So I'll see you there in just a moment, and this is the front bodice area. So I'm coming up all the way across the front bodice right into where I got it stitch marked, and then that's it. So if you counted, that's where you'll end to. So rows number 2 through 5 is exactly what we did. Remember how we did a taper here? We're going to do it again on this side. So rows number 2, 3, 4, and 5. 4 rows of the same thing. So chaining up 1, put the first 2 stitches together, or 2 together, single crochet, and then single crochet across to the other side and put the last 2 together. I'm not gonna show you this much detail because I've already kind of done it already in the front side of the on the back side of the bodice. So go back and forth, decreasing on the beginning and the ending of the rows for rows number 2, 3, 4, and 5. Please do that now. So I've now just finished rows 2, 3, 4, and 5. So it's tapering up. Row number 6 is just 1 single crochet in each, and you're going to continue just to go back and forth till you get a set height, and it's a little bit shorter than the back side, just so that you're aware. So it's either 1 3/4 or all the way to 3 1/4. So just go back and forth, and the measurement is really from the starting of this whole section right here. So just take a measurement of that and stop as soon as you hit the marker point that it's suggesting, so the height. So go back and forth, single crochet to the height that you need. Okay, once you get to the height that you need, you'll end on the wrong side. So I'm looking at the inside of the jumper, and we're gonna turn our work and begin the one side of the strap. So let's begin the side of the strap, and this is the left hand side it says. So we're going to chain up 1, and we're gonna do like we did before. So we're gonna just do the first 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, just like that. So we're going to then turn your work, and we're gonna taper it in like we did before. So right in the center we're gonna taper out. So we're gonna just chain up 1 and put the first 2 together and taper that back out. Kind of advantage with doing the strap the first time, you kind of understand it, right? So going back across and then turn your work, and we're gonna taper one more time, but on this side again to keep it in the middle. So just chaining up 1 and single crochet in each except for the final 2. You'll put the final 2 stitches together. Okay, so now it says the next 3 rows are 1 single crochet each. So you're just gonna go back and forth. So let's do this. You know how to go back and forth, so just do that for 3 rows, and I'll see you back here in just a moment. So I'm finishing up the 3rd row. Just took me a few seconds to get here. I just didn't want to drag you through that. And we're gonna turn our work and then finish off the strap. So turn it so that like we did before, we're gonna taper off the top. So just chain up 1 and do 1 single crochet, or 1 single crochet, 2 together, or 2 single crochet together in the first one, and then single crochet across, and then the final 2 stitches will come together to finish off. And that would be the top of this strap. You're done. So what we're going to do, just fasten this off. We'll weave in our tails later, and then we're just gonna carry on to your next strap. So the next strap is on the other side. So it's gonna tell you to skip so many stitches, but what I'd recommend, just grab a stitch marker, and you know it's 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. I wanna double count that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it tells you to skip so many stitches and then start, but if you do it this way, then you know it's a balance anyway. So it's just, you know, something for yourself. So we're gonna zoom back in now, and we're going to attach. And start in the first one. So let's just attach our yarn. And then chain 1 and single crochet that one plus the other 8. So it gives you 9. So I'm gonna count like I did before. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So I dragged my straggler through there, so I'm just going to get rid of that. Okay, and now we're gonna turn our work and do the next row. So we're gonna start our tapering. So for 2 rows we're gonna taper like we did before. So when we get to the end of that, we're going to put the final 2 together. So chain up 1 and 1 single crochet in each except for the final 2. You'll put those 2 together. So put the final 2 together. Turn your work and do it one more time. So chain up 1, put the first 2 together, and then single crochet back to the end. So then you're just gonna do your 3 rows again, back and forth, just regular double or single crochets, no more decreasing, and then we'll see you there in just a moment. So just turn your work and then just do 3 rows of regular single crochet back and forth. I'll see you at the end of the 3rd row. So I'm finishing up the 3rd row now. Just was a few seconds before I left you before. So you're gonna just finish this one off like you just did the other one. So just turning your work and put the first 2 together, single crochet the remaining except for the final 2, put the final 2 together. And then that's it. So we're gonna just trim that off and we'll deal with our tails later. So what's next in this project? So we have to just look at this project in even more detail, and we're gonna see what we're gonna do next. So I'm actually pretty happy with that so far. So we have our back straps. Let's zoom out. So we have our back straps, we have our front straps. So the back just comes up over the front like that. Neat. Okay, so let's move along in the pattern, see where we are. Let's see what we have to do next. By golly, I actually think we're almost done. So what I want you to do is that I want you to look at the front side of the jumper, and I want you to go to this side that I'm pointing at too. Okay, so just turn it and go to the middle. And what I want to do is I want to start my yarn there. So all I'm just going to do is trace the final edge all the way around. So I'm gonna follow it up the sides, and each one of these single crochets equals a stitch. Come back over the top and then back down. So just coming up and down the straps, and then you'll end up back here in the very beginning. So just do one single crochet in each all the way around. So I've just traced the top edge, and it's all really quite fun and fabulous. So I'm just done, and you're gonna have to make some choices depending on what you think is right for you. Now buttons and all those etceteras always get people really excited. I'm gonna say upset, but it's not upset. But buttons are the foundation of clothing basically for humans. So you're gonna have to decide what you would like to do. The buttons, make sure that you're going to sew them on directly to the project. I highly recommend upholstery thread. If you have a reason to be concerned about buttons popping off, I would use upholstery thread just to really make sure that it's almost impossible to come off. You also want to choose the size of your buttons that will match the holes as well, so that it will be totally secure. The other decision you'll have to make is that this particular dress, the jumper, has a belt that is applied to it. So what you have to be really conscientious now of, you have to make some decisions. So you have to do your button. So you'll sew your button to the front side, and then your back will then come up over top. So the button hole needs to be big enough, and the button needs to be nice and generous so that it's not gonna pop open for you. The other thing that you may want to consider is that this item has a belt that is applied, and it's the same color as this white area. So you'll want to do that if you want to do it, and just weave it in and out and have it come down. A lot of people kind of get really frantic about that as far as like belts and strands and stuff, so that you'll have to decide. If you would like to do that, it's using the two strands at the same time. So in that case it would be, in my case it would actually be this white color, and then you'll just use two strands at the same time, and then just chain a total of 40 all the way to 48 depending on your size, and then you'll just come across and then use it and just sew it in, or sorry, just weave it in and have it come out to the top. So this would be how you would complete that. So I'm gonna leave it to your choice whether you're going to apply a belt, and to do that you may even want the belt just coming on the front side. Maybe want to change it to the back. You may also want to change the length of it too, just in case you're concerned about it dangling too much, but in your case it's awesome. So what I'm gonna have here is that on the pattern itself, it actually has some embroidery work that you can use. Because you've gone back and forth, these will all match up to each other, so you can apply this little design there too if you wish, and that's something that's pretty awesome. So I think the dress is just amazing, and I think that I'm really quite happy with it. And so now I'm just gonna use your sewing techniques and apply buttons, and then that's it, you're done. So until next time, it's Mikey on behalf of the Crochet Crowd with my friends over Yarnspirations.com. Have a good one. Captured you in a foggy cloud, babe.